My name is Katy FAUST. I'm founder and president of Them Before Us, a global movement to defend children's right to their mother and father. That makes us staunch opponents of surrogacy in all cases. Because whether the commissioning parents are single, married, gay, or straight, surrogacy always inflicts an injustice on children. From the perspective of the child, surrogacy splices what should be one woman, mother, into three purchasable and optional women. The genetic mother that provides the egg, the surrogate mother who provides the womb, and the social mother who offers children the love and feminine nurture that they crave every day. When all three mothers are not found in the same person, the child experiences loss. And that's a problem, because if they lose any one of those three, it's an injustice to children. None of these women are optional in the life of a child. What does the genetic mother offer children? She alone grants children something that they crave, and that is their biological identity. We know that children who grow up apart from their genetic mother or father very often suffer identity struggles. Overwhelmingly, children created through third-party reproduction using another person's sperm or another person's egg say, "My sperm donor is half of who I am." Many of them are bothered by the fact that money changed hands during their conception, and these children overwhelmingly struggle to answer the question, "Who am I?" because they don't know whose am I. Separating a child from their genetic parent often dooms them to a life of identity struggles. Children also need a connection with their birth mother. This is the only relationship that children have for the first 9.5 months of their life. They bond deeply with their mother, and we actually know this by looking at women and how they bond with their children. The bond between mother and baby is very, very strong, and for the child is the building blocks for future relationships as they learn to trust and attach. Severing that bond at birth inflicts what adoptees call a primal wound on children. They attest to the fact that even though adoptees overwhelmingly are raised by adults who make more money, have more education, and spend more time with them, adoptees still suffer disproportionately in school, with substance abuse, and with mental health issues. Why is that? Many of them would say, because we were forced to lose the relationship with the only person that we knew, our mother, on the day that we are born, and it hindered our development. Birth is supposed to be the first time a child sees the mother they already love for the first time, not the last. Surrogacy purposefully inflicts that wound on children. Even if the child is handed over to their genetic parents on the day that they are born, it is the surrogate that the baby knows. It's her voice, her milk, her body, her smell that comforts the baby. To the baby, the two genetic parents are just two strangers among 8 billion others. Sometimes children lose their birth mother to tragedy, and in those cases, we mourn. Surrogacy inflicts that child loss intentionally, and that is an injustice. Third, surrogacy allows for the never-before-seen phenomenon in our species of the intentionally motherless child. So some children born through surrogates will lose their genetic mother. They all lose their birth mother, but many will lose their social mother. Many of them will go to a home where they are starved of the love of a mother that they crave and that maximizes child development. Children don't just need to be loved in the abstract. Children are made for the love of a man and a woman. Not only does this satisfy their hunger for male and female love, but it maximizes their development. Men interact with children in ways that benefit them, in ways that mothers do not. For example, men, through their play, their rough and tumble interactions with kids, they maximize children and help them develop their gross motor skills: running, jumping, climbing, wrestling. Women naturally help children develop their fine motor skills: cutting, drawing, tying their shoes. These two approaches are not something that the mother and father are doing intentionally. It is instinctual. It is built into the differences in their bodies and their brains. Men and women talk to children differently. Men talk to kids like they talk to everyone else, using big words. Hey buddy, that's a gnarly rug burn that you've got there. What happened? Did you wipe out on your bike? Women simplify their language right down to the child's level. Oh baby, did you get a boo-boo? So the child always has one adult that is pushing their cognitive development by using language and words that are beyond the child's capacity to understand. And they always have one adult, one parent, who's simplifying their language so the child understands every word. Women tend to care for kids. Men tend to play with kids. So different are the ways that men and women interact with children that many sociologists would say there's no such thing as parenting. There's only mothering and fathering, and kids need both. Surrogacy always insists that children lose a relationship with their birth mother. Very often, they will also lose a relationship with their genetic mother, the egg donor. And in some tragic cases, they will also lose a social mother, and they will be starved of the maternal love that they crave. It doesn't matter if the surrogate pregnancy is gestational or traditional. It doesn't matter if it is paid or altruistic. In 100% of cases, surrogacy insists that children sacrifice something that they are made for, one or all three of their mothers, so adults can have something that they want. Surrogacy always, in 100% of cases, insists that children sacrifice for adults. That's an injustice. A just society does not force the weak to sacrifice for the strong. Rather, a just society insists that adults do hard things so the rights and well-being of children are protected. I'm so grateful to be a part of your conference. Thank you for including the voice of children in this conversation. I would argue that their voices should be the loudest and their rights should be the foremost concern of all of us as we consider whether or not to permit or whether or not to completely outlaw this practice that commodifies children and insists that they sacrifice their rights for the sake of adult desires.